What exactly is going on in the Caribbean Sea? Donald Trump says it's war on the drug cartels. But is it a play at regime change?
We'll show you the military assets deployed and our best assessment of where they are, along with some potential US military courses of action.
Stay with us as we break it all down. This is the Security Brief. Mikey, the US administration does not see Nicolas Maduro as the legitimate leader of Venezuela. They blame him for the number of migrants and the drugs coming across the southern border. So what is the intent?
Well, let's go back to where this all began in terms of the kinetic strikes, the airstrikes. September the 2nd was the first strike on a narco boat. The US are calling them narco terrorists. And Trump posted this on social media, quote, US military forces conducted a kinetic strike against positively identified Tren Agua narco-terrorists. Tren Agua is a designated foreign terrorist organization operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking and sex trafficking. That's an allegation, by the way, that Maduro denies.
How many since?
Well, if we take a look at the map, 20 of these strikes that we know of, according to the latest figures, we have up to and including from the 19th of November, and more than 80 people killed, Christian, in these strikes. And you'll be able to see on the map how widely dispersed these airstrikes are, albeit the majority are. If you look onto the map there, you can just see the majority are off the middle of the north coast of Venezuela.
And just so we're clear, where is the delineation on that map between international waters and the Venezuelan territorial waters?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, because when you do look on the map, you can see that a lot of those strikes are very, very close to the coast. Territorial waters are aligned to the same boundaries as sovereign airspace. So they both start at the coast and they both finish at 12 nautical miles off the coast. These airstrikes are happening very, very close to territorial waters, but not inside Venezuelan territorial waters.
OK, we should talk about what the White House has deployed.
Yeah, it's the biggest deployment in terms of the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier, which arrived in the Caribbean earlier this month. Let's take a look at what its capability is, because it is astronomical. It's the largest carrier in the world, displacing around 100,000 tons of water, fully laden. It's got the capability to hold more than 4,000 personnel on board and 25 decks. Now, that's decks going from the very depths of the aircraft all the way up to the deck and onwards from the where the air operations are conducted. It's got a speed of around 30 knots, and amazingly, it costs them $8 million a day to run. So it can operate up to around 90 aircraft, which equates to around 220 airstrikes per day. That's significant, and it can operate for 20 years without refueling. So in short, it's like parking a small country in your backyard.
And it's been redeployed. This is the point. It was on operations elsewhere.
Yes, it was. The Ford carrier has been operating on training operations with NATO in the North Sea and also in the Mediterranean. So it was redeployed from those NATO training operations back to the Caribbean.
And when you look at the map globally, where are the other US battle groups? And does this focus on the Caribbean change the US posture?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question, because the US has priorities, and we know from the way that Sec Hexeth and the Trump administration have been posturing